Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If your family member is in the US currently without status, can you petition for them and allow them to get a green card without leaving the United States? That's the question for today's video. We're going to be going through several different examples and discussing some of the key immigration principles to keep in mind while you're trying to figure this out. If you're new to my channel, I'm Puyan Darian, an immigration lawyer, and I put out a new video on a family-related immigration topic every week. There are many different categories of family petition that can be used to help your family member become a permanent resident in the United States. You can be a US citizen or a permanent resident petitioning for a spouse, and each of these categories have different rules and forgive different grounds of inadmissibility. You can be petitioning for a sibling. You can petition for kids who are under the age of 21 or over the age of 21 or over the age of 21 and married. All of these types of categories have different rules. The main ones that we need to talk about for people who've overstayed and are in the US fall under the broad term of immediate relative petition. I've talked about immediate relative petitions in other videos a lot. So go check out my other videos if you aren't sure what that means or what the implications of that type of petition are. But the main ones are US citizens petitioning for spouses who are in the US, parents who are US citizens petitioning for children under the age of 21, and children who are US citizens and over the age of 21 who are petitioning for parents. These three categories of petition are called immediate relative petitions. And if you are filing this type of petition in the US, while your immigrant family member is in the US, even if they've overstayed or engaged in unauthorized employment, they can probably apply for permanent residence without leaving the US. We call it adjustment of status. Every other type of family petition is broadly referred to as a preference category petition. Whether you're petitioning for an adult son or daughter who's married or unmarried, and the difference between married and unmarried is that married sons and daughters have to wait way longer than unmarried ones. Whether you're petitioning for a sibling, which is historically has the longest waiting period. Currently, it's like 15 years or longer before you can even apply for your permanent residence in the US. Doesn't matter, as long as it's not an immediate relative petition. If your family member is in the US and they've overstayed, they can't apply for adjustment of status in the US. Now, there are some situations where this person might be able to leave and go to a consulate abroad and re-enter the US as a permanent resident. That's a really complicated analysis. It would take much more than a 10-minute YouTube video to explain all the ins and outs of that because it's oftentimes a case-specific inquiry. We would be looking at how much unlawful presence they have, whether they qualify for something like an unlawful presence waiver, whether they have a qualifying relative for this waiver. And I get that you don't know what any of this means. I've discussed some of this stuff in other videos. I'm just trying to say that it's pretty complicated stuff and beyond the scope of a simple YouTube video. The main takeaway from this video is you might be able to apply for adjustment of status if you're in the US and you are the beneficiary of an immediate relative petition. But if you fall into one of those other categories, it is very unlikely that you'll be able to apply for adjustment of status in the US if you're currently out of status, like you've overstayed your visa. Something I didn't talk about in this video and that I've discussed in several other videos is that another requirement for adjustment of status in the US is a lawful entry. So even if you have a US citizen spouse, if you've entered the US illegally or without inspection, it's not going to be that simple. You can't just file an application for adjustment of status without fixing your illegal entry first. and I've done several videos on specifically how to fix an unlawful entry. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. If you've benefited from this or you have any questions or comments, please leave it in the comment section below. If you have a specific immigration issue that you want to discuss, feel free to contact my office and schedule a consultation directly with me. You can do it through my website or by calling us. And I'll see you guys next week for another video.